Hello, everybody. It looks like we have about 15 people on at this point. We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get started in about 3 minutes or so. We want to wait and allow others to jump on. We have about 46 people registered. So we want to make sure everyone gets the opportunity to join us. Check the chat, please. I have put a link to a request for the magnet. We just want to make sure we get the magnets to the right places and the right number of magnets in case you want to give some to your staff. I'll continue to let people in, but I also want you all to know, please feel free to eat, drink, and whatever you need to do. It's your lunchtime, and that's why we're having this meeting during a time we already know you're doing something and kill two birds with one stone here. So hang tight. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes to start this presentation. Meanwhile, we have Mike. You can see Mike Castrollo, attorney Mike Castrollo is with us. And Ellen Jones is our Medicaid benefits specialist. And I saw Jack pop on real quick. He is our resident, our attorney resident. And we also have Laura Sloan, who's another attorney in our office, joining us today. So we have about 19 people on the call at this point. If you think of any questions, you're welcome to put them in there right now, and we'll get to them for sure. That's part of the purpose of this call, is to make sure we get to all of your questions. Sorry, I'm going to repeat this in about 2 minutes when we start the call. If you don't have your chat open, please open it. It should be in the top menu bar of Teams. Just click on the chat button. Marlene got it. 3 magnets. That sounds great. Be sure to just click the form. I'm going to send you another link. Click that link to the form so I know and have you on the list of who, how many you want and the correct address to get it to you. And let's see. Did someone just let in someone else? Because I lost. Did you get the mic? Okay, thank you. Okay, it is 12 on the dot. We only have 30 minutes. We don't want to waste your time. So welcome. Thank you all for coming. We have 20 people on the call. We're so happy to have you. Please feel free to eat your lunch while you're with us. It's been 6 months since our last meeting. We've been trying to meet every time the new numbers come out. We used to meet every 6 months, every month. And we had topics such as community spouse protection, curing gifts from the 5-year look back, trusts, unmet medical needs contracts, all kinds of topics that we heard from you that you need more information on. So we are very happy to always be there to answer your questions, and that's why we do this. I am going to put the magnet link back in the chat for the new folks just joining us. Please be sure to click that link if you would like to receive a magnet, which I would like to send all of you a magnet. I think you all received a copy of it in your email. So have that ready and your email open so you can look through the numbers with Ellen and Mike. Let's see if I have anything else. Oh, we welcome your questions. Please feel free to unmute and ask your questions or just put your questions in the chat. One last thing, after this meeting, you will receive a survey. Please fill out that survey. We're always trying to improve and meet your needs, so we want to hear from you if there's anything in particular we can do to serve you better. All right, I am ready. Oh, and this meeting is being recorded, so please, you will receive a recording if you would like. Let me see if I can properly share my screen here. I want to get the PowerPoint up. Here we go. Okay. Now to get on with our Medicaid information. Welcome to Medicaid Minute. We're so happy to have you. We are the ElderLaw Firm. Now, there we go. This is about me. Let me see if I can make you all a little bit bigger. Okay. I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the ElderLaw Firm. We set up educational events all across Guilford County and the surrounding counties, and we are happy to set up an event for you all in your community or for your staff. And the great thing about these events, it's not really an event. We can do an online training or an in-person training. We can bring lunch or we can do it at a different time. But the great thing about these events are that we help educate you and your staff about how you can help your patients, clients, families, et cetera, save money and get quick approvals for Medicaid. So basically, that's kind of my job here. A little bit about our presenters, if I can, here we go. Mike Casterlow, as I said a few minutes ago, he is our Medicaid attorney here. He went to Hampton City College for his undergrad and got his law degree from Elon School of Law. We love supporting and hiring local people. His specialty is guardianships, estate planning, and estate administration. And he has an affinity for working with LGBTQA plus individuals and families. Thank you to Mike. Ellen is our Medicaid benefits specialist. Many of you know her as the Medicaid queen because she can answer just about every single question you have about Medicaid. Her career in social work has always been in the Medicaid field. She worked for many years for DSS, and she's been here almost 22 years just with Dennis at the ElderLaw Firm. So she is an incredible asset to our firm. So let's get right into the updated Medicaid numbers. So attorney and Ellen, as you go through this, let me know and I can click through these numbers for you, or you're welcome to share your screen if you'd rather do that, Mike or Ellen. But here is the Medicaid Medicaid magnet that you got in your email, and we'll go through them right now. So Ellen, I think you should take it from here.
Okay, well, the countable assets for Medicaid has been and probably always will be $2,000. So that has not changed. Whether it's for a single person or for the person who has a community spouse, they still have to get their assets below $2,000. Personal needs for Medicaid, although it has been introduced to the state House and Senate, has not changed from the $30. And the maximum amount for PACE and the maximum income to have no deductible will change in April. So that is still remaining at the $1,215 a month. Community spouse resource allowance has increased to $30,828 for the minimum. And sometimes this screen is too small for me to see sometimes. And the maximum has increased to $154,140. Now, we want to explain there that it's 1/2 of the assets at the point in time that they enter the facility. Thank you. Or the hospital and then the facility. That 1/2 has a minimum and a maximum. So if a couple only had $40,000 when one of them entered a hospital and facility, they would get, the spouse at home would get to keep the first $30,828. Not 1/2, it's whichever is greater. And if they have 400,000, they still can only keep 154,140 as is. Okay. The community spouse income allowance has also changed. The minimum is now $24.65. The maximum is, no, that didn't change. That changes in July. The maximum is what changes in January, and that maximum has increased to $3,854. Now, to increase from the minimum to the maximum, you have to have shelter expenses, which in Medicaid terminology, what that really means is a renter mortgage or home equity line of credit plus their taxes, insurance. Those are considered, and any, if there's co-op membership dues or anything like that, those are also included in the shelter expenses. But that's why the shelter expenses and the utilities allowance are on here, and that did increase to $585 a month for this year. The maximum allowed value for the personal residence. And again, this only applies to a single individual when they are using an intent to return home to protect the home site. But that increased to $713,000. For a couple, there is no maximum on the personal residence equity as long as one spouse is still in the home. The penalty divisor for gifts made has not changed, and nobody ever knows when those do change because there is no regular basis for that. It's just when the state realizes that they are way under what it's actually costing, they will do an adjustment. Gift look back for Medicaid is 60 months. That has not changed. Okay. Special assistance has a reserve limit of $2,000. The special assistance income limit went up January 1st, and this was what caused the delay in our getting this out to everyone because the state had not announced it. Some of these, has increased and will increase every year from now on based on the cost of living increase. So for this year, it's $1,415.50. That is the maximum income a person can have and be eligible for assisted living. The $1,789.50 is the maximum that they can have in gross income and be eligible for the memory care units. There's a $70 personal needs allowance. The look back is 36 months. The penalty divisor is $2,000. But unlike nursing home Medicaid, where you have to apply to get the sanction set, the sanction begins the first day of the month after you have made the gift. And so you just don't apply until that penalty period is over if there have been gifts. Medicare rehab copays on regular Medicare have gone up to $204 a day. Your Advantage plans have their own rules, and so, of course, each Advantage plan would have a different qualification rule, copay days, and so forth. Okay. The VA aid and attendance always goes up the 1st of December and is based on the same cost of living increase that Social Security uses. So for 2024, married veteran, $2,727 per month. A single veteran is $2,300 per month, and the surviving spouse, $1,478 per month. Can you flip to the next page? Okay. Whoops. So this is just showing what we just said. The minimum for the spouse at home went up from $29,724 to $30,828. The maximum went up from $148,620 to $154,140. The community spouse income allowance, which we talked about on the page before, is The maximum went up. The minimum changes in July. The maximum went up from 3,715 to 3,854. Now, what this means as far as someone has a question?
Yeah, Sadie has a question. Sadie, do you want to unmute or would you like to put it in the chat? Either way is great. We'll come back to Sadie.
Okay.
Keep going and Sadie, go
Okay.
ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead, Ellen.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me go to the next slide.
I looked up
Yeah.
and saw, this will increases every year, and shelter expenses are the only thing, I think we said that can raise what the spouse at home gets to keep from the minimum to the maximum. Okay, yeah, we can go to the next one.
You know what? That was Sardi Izzard. So Sardi, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead, Ellen.
Go ahead to the next slide. Okay. The maximum allowed value of personal residence. Actually, this probably really only applies to skilled nursing as opposed to PACE, because most of the PACE people are going to be in their own home.
Okay, we got the question. It's from Sardi Izzard, and she says, sorry, she can't unmute. So the slides that speak about Medicaid amounts, is that for a SNF?
Yes.
Okay. And then Julia, hi Julia, she says, is the maximum income for a single individual higher if the person is on disability and has special needs?
No.
Okay.
And I'm assuming you're asking for for a nursing home or assisted living, either one.
Okay. You can keep on trucking.
Yeah. The income limits would not change. Yeah.
She says just Medicaid in general. And then how does VA benefits work for a spouse?
Okay. VA for the spouse. All right. Let's skip that. Come back to that when we get down to the VA screen again.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay.
That was from Liz Hart. Okay. You want to go to the next slide? No, you're good.
No, the 713,000 home equity amount is to state an intent to return home and have the home protected. Okay. Yeah, we can go on to the next one. The rehab days, we went over that. It increased from $200 a day to $204 per day.
Sorry. You got another question here from Penny Chappelle. I'm in a SNF. DSS actually adopted the $70 personal allowance increase effective January 1st for SNF residents. I will be happy to forward you the change notice sent to DSS directors.
Well, all right. See, North Carolina Medicaid manual has not made any of the changes as of yet. They had not even put out the community spouse and spousal things. I got those from the federal, but it is good to know that I knew that it was up for the House and Senate 3 years ago to increase them to $70, but I have received nothing that says that was put in effect. That would be great, Penny. Thanks. So we're going to have to change the magnets.
Why does this happen every year?
Because North Carolina manual people are not, yeah.
Okay, I just sent our emails to her. Okay. And then Julia updated her question. He is currently in independent living, heavily subsidized by the family. That was Julia's question.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Wait a minute. As to what? As to the income limits?
That was maximum income for a single individual with the disability and special needs.
Okay, all right. They've been brings up an interesting point, because I have over the years heard a lot of people say, I can't get Medicaid because I have too much income. Technically, there is no such thing unless you're over income for skilled nursing, in which case, why would you want Medicaid? But for a person who's living in independent living, what Medicaid calls private living arrangement, if they have income greater than $1,215, they are over income to have Medicaid with no deductible. But they are not over income to receive help from Medicaid. They would just have to meet a deductible. A portion of their medical expenses they would have to incur and be responsible for before Medicaid would pay any other expenses. So based on that, your person with disability, depending on their out-of-pocket medical expenses, they could very well qualify for Medicaid.
I was going to say, go ahead.
And also, if they can't meet a 6-month deductible, let's say because they have Medicare and Medicare is paying too much, there are also times where you can get what's called a retroactive Medicaid, which means if you are in the hospital and you have out-of-pocket medical for 1, 2, or 3 months, you could apply after the fact. Wait till the month, and then you'd only have a 1 month or a 2-month deductible instead of a 6-month deductible.
Jenny Pravat says, is that deductible per month or per year?
If you apply for ongoing Medicaid, there is a 6-month deductible. And as I used to explain to some of our clients when I worked for DSS, I can't say, well, you didn't have many medical expenses this month, so let's just kick it out and not count it. Because it doesn't work that way. It's 6 months or you're not going to get ongoing Medicaid. But with the retroactive Medicaid, that is exactly what you can do. You can, for example, it's February now. You could apply for November, December, and January, or November and December, or November and January, any combination of the 3 months prior, and you can basically kick out any month where there were not high medical expenses and only apply for the month that you need the help.
Kathy Bryant says at Compass, DSS is only allowing $30 for personal income.
That's because nobody's gotten the change notice. That's what I'm talking about. We did not know it.
And then Julia says, one more question. Do over-the-counter medicines and supplies count as medical expenses?
To meet a deductible? Yes.
Like adult diapers?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's all of our questions, I think. You want to move on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably need to.
You done with this VA aid and attend? Go on.
Oh, okay.
There we go. This done with that?
Okay. Somebody had a question about VA. So back up to the other one. To the one.
Yes.
Back up to the slide before this.
Okay, so Liz Hart says, how does VA benefits work for the spouse?
For a surviving spouse of a veteran.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Where Medicaid says, and this is the only way I know to explain this, and this was explained to me this way by a VA person back years, 25 to 30 years ago, where Medicaid says you have too much income, so you have a medical deductible to meet, VA actually works it like the opposite. If you have income that's too much, they subtract your medical expenses. And if your income then goes below their set amount, then you are eligible. Go down to the next one with the spouse. Yeah, surviving spouse. Okay, let me give you an example. If you've got someone who's got let's say $1,500 a month in VA income, in Social Security income, but they're in a facility, a special assistance facility, and their medical expenses would bring them clearly way down below that, then VA would supplement that. So if their medical expenses took them down to zero income, VA would pay them $1,478 a month.
Can the spouse get, this is from Liz again, can the spouse get VA if vet is still alive?
It would go back up to the couple of the spouse. The veteran would have to apply as a married individual.
Okay. Move on to the next slide. Oh, that's it, right, for the changes. I think we got the changes, right? You do not need to email me because I gave you all a link. I'm going to put it in there one more time to get the magnet. Mike, I wonder if you have anything you wanted to, oh, whoops, wrong link, to add here.
Yeah, the only thing I'll mention is I'm happy that Ellen kind of explained it regarding the community spouse resource allowances and how they work. 'Cause that's a question that we often get whenever we meet with clients regarding how much can the spouse living at home keep. Because there's this understanding for some reason that they can keep that limit is what they get to keep, and that's not necessarily true. So I'm happy that Ellen did explain that it's one half, and then if they don't quite reach the 30,000 minimum, then they get to keep that. But if they're say they have $200,000 as a couple, then the spouse living at home gets to keep 100,000. So they don't get to go up to 154, 140. They stop at 100. And so that's a key distinction just to kind of note. And one thing that I'll also mention is I think I noticed that there are quite a few folks on the call that have referred to us in the past, and we love you for that. So keep doing it. And if you happen to meet anybody who's in a Medicaid crisis situation, we're happy to consult with them and talk with them about their situation, especially if they happen to be, if the family has happened to have made a lot of gifts in the past. We would definitely want to talk with them because there might be ways to get the gifts cured that facilities aren't necessarily going to let them know about. And so we would want to make sure that they are looking at every possible option that's available to them to get their loved one on Medicaid, if that's the route that we're looking at.
And since there are a lot of people here that are from facilities, one of the things I want to mention is Medicaid manual says the first institutionalization of more than 30 days since 1989. So if you had a person who 3 years ago was in a facility, rehabbed, came home, now needs Medicaid again, it goes back to the first time that they went. So if you also have someone who comes in, rehabs and is there for, let's say, 45 days, 60 days, tell them to collect those financial records from the months before they came in because they're going to be needed.
Liz asked about the fee and how to get a consultation with you all. And I just wanted to say for you all on this call as professionals, you're welcome to email us with questions because Ellen is very good and Mike very good about answering questions that you might have. But Mike, do you want to go over fees and how you work that with families and the seminars, et cetera?
Yeah. So typically for a consultation with an attorney and with Ellen to discuss Medicaid, our consultation fee is $495. However, we do offer regular seminars at our office that around a variety of topics. Some of them happen to deal with Medicaid. They deal with dementia. I think Dennis does one on trust. And so we offer regular seminars that if the family attended those, then they can get a free consultation with our office. And so that's a way to kind of, if $495 seems a little bit steep, that they can maybe get that free consultation and then talk about, okay, this is what how we can help get your loved one on Medicaid or assist them in that situation. And then we would just talk about what the fee for the application itself would be. I will say that if you do pay the $495 for a consultation, often we credit that toward the Medicaid application or any work that we may be doing for our clients. So if they aren't able to attend the seminars just because they happen to be on a date that just doesn't work, and they do pay the $495, then that is typically credited toward whatever things that we might be doing for them. And then I saw another question pop up.
It was from Kathy Bryant. I have a family member of a Medicaid patient. Ask if they could claim the patient monthly liability on the resident taxes. And we have about 2 minutes left. For any other questions, if you have a question in the next 2 minutes, put it in the chat.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's medical expense.
Right. And so, yeah, we would typically, so the answer is yes, but we would definitely say, hey, chat with the CPA about doing that properly. But we definitely say yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had people who have had to go back and file an amended tax return because they weren't filing. But I've also had some who weren't claiming it when they were paying privately, which doesn't make sense to me.
Last chance for questions. We have a good group here. Okay, here we go. Last question here, probably that we'll have time for. Oh, thank you. And I thank you for having us again. And we appreciate you too, Kathy. Kathy missed probably none of our Medicaid minutes when we used to meet monthly. She was like perfect attendance. But for all those who are interested or that are here, please be sure to fill out the survey that I sent you as soon as this is over. The Medicaid magnets are on order. We hope to get them within the next week or so. But in addition to receiving that Medicaid magnet, you will also get one of these gray books. I know you can't really see that because my camera is blurring, but the gray book many of you ask about, and this is a wonderful book called The Consumer's Guide to Medicaid Planning. This will also come with your new magnet. And be sure, if you want a training, which can be as brief as 30 minutes or as long as an hour, hour and a half, 90 minutes if you want, about Medicaid, how to get better quick approvals, how to avoid problems with Medicaid applications, all of this kind of thing, please reach out to me because we are happy to travel to you or do it online or have you come to us. However, the best way is to train your department heads or the people working with your families on Medicaid. Also, remember to send your patients and families a link to our list of seminars that Mike referred to. It's www.rsvp.info. rsvp.info. Oh, thank you, Nidra, for mentioning the PACE guide. And you're welcome. We have one of these consumer guides just for PACE as well. We're happy to send that to you as needed. I think that's it. It's 12:30. I hope you got your lunch eaten so you can get back to work. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in July at our next Medicaid Minute for the July numbers. Bye, everybody.